Welcome back to Vintage Steel Garage. Today we're talking about wheels and tyres, which is obvious to some, but not everyone. Okay, so you've probably seen the thumbnail with a flat tyre. We're talking about flat tyres today and the reasons for them. Okay, someone's going to say, well, that's pretty obvious, but some people don't think that, so let's go through it. So, three reasons really for a flat tyre: puncture, which can be a nail in it or it's worn down, cracked rim, which is not the obvious one, and also a porous rim. Now, actually, I've got the latter two to look at today, which is a cracked rim and a porous rim. So let me show you what we're dealing with. This is the wheel off the Range Rover Sport, and I had a problem the other day where the tyre was going down. I'd pump it up, it wouldn't go completely flat, which I thought was a bit odd. It'd go down to about 20 psi, stay there, pump it up to 35 again, go down pretty quick to 20 psi. So I assumed it was a nail, but of course, best thing to do is just check around the rim, run your hands around the tyre, under the arch, or just keep moving the car forward and have a look for any puncture repairs. Any move it forward and look for any reasons for the puncture, sort of nail sticking out, something like that. Didn't have that problem with this one, but what I did have on the back, and I'll insert a picture of the cracked rim, but this is what we had it cracked here, just a hairline crack through here. And the way I found it was basically get a brush, some washing up liquid and some soapy water, just lie the rim down flat, basically like that. Just run some soapy water around here. We'll do it on the other one in a minute and I'll show you. Run it round there, and I could see it was sitting out of here, and this is where they've welded the rim up. Now it is okay, I've checked, it's okay to have a welded rim. The guy's a proper tyre wheel repairer, done a nice job there, then painted over it. So that's all repaired, so this can go back on. Now we're on to the second cause of a tyre that can go down. Now with this one, it's been for a while going down. We've had it in and out of the garage and not fixed it. I suspect it's a corroded rim. Somewhere around here it will be leaking, or even maybe from the valve. Now this tyre is actually probably past the best, because you can see there's a bit of a shoulder on each side, and what this is, it's been wearing here and here and not in the middle. And the main reason for that is that it's been run underinflated for quite a while, because my daughter's just been pumping the tyre up, driving on it, it's been going down, so it's never at the right tyre pressure. And this explains why, if you look here, you can see a bit of a radius here. I think it's sort of broken the back of the tyre because it's just been running for too long like this. So we need to change these tyres. But first of all, I want to make sure I can at least get this tyre to stay up for at least a couple of weeks. And we've solved that idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some soapy water around here, pump the tyre up first to pressure, because it's a bit low at the moment, you can see that. And from the thumbnail, it was virtually flat. Pump this up, put some soap around here, and see if we can see where it's leaking from. I've got the tyre now overinflated, so I'm just going to put some soapy water around here and see if we can see where it's going to be leaking from. So we're just looking for any sort of bubbling around the rim. Can't seem to see anything there, or the valve. Could be something there. Right, let's try on the rear. I think we've got something there already. Look there. Let me come back to that. I mean, it could be in multiple places, but it's definitely there. Look at that. And that could be enough to make it go flat over time. So what I'm going to do now, what we're going to do is try and break this bead and look what it's like on the inside. So I'm going to let the tyre down and use with this tyre machine here just to break the bead off and see if we can clean round on the inside. I've just taken the valve out, so that's the air you can hear coming out, but important point to note, mark where the tyre is in relation to the rim, because if you put the tyre back on in a different orientation you'd have to have it balanced again, and I haven't got the ability to do any balancing at home. As I say, a bit of a caveat in case someone's just watching now, I am going to replace this tyre because this tyre's shot, as in it's been running on the outer edges rather than on the inner, because it's been running low pressure for a while, but this is just to make sure that the rim fixes itself first. You can see where it's been foaming up there. So what we're going to do is get this in here with the tyre machine, and this will hopefully, I won't be able to remove the tyre, but I'll be able to just crack it off the bead. And this is how this works. It goes in on the edge there, press down and break the bead off. There, you see it's gone down now. We just crack that all the way around. We just do the same on the reverse. There, it's gone. So that's the tyre off all the way around now. So now we've cracked the bead off, you can get into the edge here and you can see this is the mark we put on the tyre and on the rim, and sure enough you can see there's some corrosion here. There's a little bit of bubbling, I can feel it standing proud there. So I think there's some corrosion on the back of that rim there that we can get into. This is a tyre pressure monitor system. This is on this, and what it does is it'll count the revolutions and compare it with the other wheels. And on the same axle, if this one is revolving faster than the other one, it means you've got a slow puncture. Now one of them is faulty. I'm going to put the data load on later to see if it'll tell me which one it is. Now they have batteries inside them and they do fail. Now the cars, they say they last between 5 and 10 years, and the car's 10 years old. So one or all of them are failing, but this is how you'll be able to replace them yourself. You can break the bead like this with one of these machines. This machine, by the way, only costs about £40. Break the bead off like this, take that tyre pressure monitor out, replace it, recalibrate it with the car, and put the wheel back on. So we're not looking at that, we're actually looking at the corrosion on the back. So let me get the bit of stick in the same place and see if I can show you the back edge of where the corrosion is. Right, I've actually decided I'm going to take the tyre off of this and then get the corrosion all the way around. But what we've got to be careful with is that I don't damage the rim, because this is great for steel rims, but it's not so good for alloy ones. So I'm just going to try and, but it's also, if the tyre isn't a low profile tyre and it's quite a soft swirl, more likely to come off. So I'm just going to start, not where that sensor is as well, just going to start around here and see if I can tease this tyre out. There we go. Right, so that's got that off. There we go. Tyre off. That gives us better access. I'm going to clean this rim up all the way around. So to be fair, it's a lot easier with the tyre off. Could have done it with it on. You can see this is a lot of sealant. where the tyre shop had to go at resealing it. Now on the front face, that being the front face of the wheel, it's fairly clean all the way around. But on the rear face, you can see there's a bit of corrosion in here, and probably the worst bit being about there. That's not a good bit. Where did that coincide with my dirty mark? So we'd made a mark there on the rim, hadn't we? And you can see there again, there's a chunk that's come off there. So I need to clean all this up all the way around. I'm just going to clean it up with wire brush and then a bit of sandpaper. So I'm just going to run round here with this, get all this rubber off first of all. So you can see a little bit better now that there's quite a bit of corrosion on this back edge of this rim, so this is what we need to tackle now. Now, so I don't lose sight of my mark where I had a leak, in case I rubbed my dirty fingers over it, I'm just going to put an arrow on there so I know that's the bit where it was leaking from, and that's where I need to pay more attention than anywhere else. Right, so I'm just going to work my way around the wheel like that, and I'll come back to you once I've got it cleaned up a bit more. So this is the sort of feeling you're dealing with. You can see where it's corroded, and then underneath the paint's actually bubbled up. You see all this white corrosion. Yes, we need to get all of this off this. Basically it's just this part here where it will seal on. That bit doesn't matter, just this face. So we'll go all the way around there, see where it's white there, scrape it all off, sand it all down, and put a bit of primer on it. I've gone all the way around this rim now, cleaning it all up. What I'm going to do is just put some primer on it. But there was quite a bit of corrosion on, but it's definitely a lot better, and that's the bit coming up here now where the arrow is. It's heavily corroded there, so at least it's basically going to seal on this edge. It doesn't seal on that edge, it seals on this surface here. So you want to make sure this is good and nice and clean. But I'm just going to put a bit of primer on it, clean the tyre up around the edge, and then we should be good to remount it. So there we go, we've repaired all the way around the rim now. Put a coat of primer on it. You can see a lot less corrosion. That's the bit where we had the problem. So what we're going to do now is put it back on the tyre machine and get the tyre back on. So to put the tyre back on, we have some of this, which is tyre goo. You'll see it says no corrosion or corrosion inhibitor in it, or no corrosive elements in it. You're going to avoid that with soap. So we're going to brush that on the tyre, and then we just need to make sure we line the tyre back up where it was. So we'll put this it just helps it slide on better. Right, so that should be enough. Right, so you need to line my mark up, which is here, with the rim here. you go. With these sort of tyres with soft walls, you can actually get them on quite a way without the tyre levers. I don't think I'm going to get this on all the way. Let's see what we can do. No, just need the tyre pry just on the last bit. I'm going to get it on where the tyre pressure sensor is. Don't want to damage that. There we go. Tyre back on. All you need to do now is inflate it. And then get the valve back in. Right, let's get it pumped up to the correct PSI and get it on the car. Sorry, one thing I should have said to do before we put it back on the car is basically check it's not leaking on the rim. So we just put the soapy water back on. That's the line we had where it was leaking. And you can see there are no bubbles coming out. So we'll check the other side, make sure that's okay and get it back on the car. Then get some new tyres ordered.